It's lunchtime and the Brooklyn Cafe is open for business. Live from the AMP Media Studios, Dawn and Freddie S. and their team are ready to serve up a huge portion of fun for lunch with friends and neighbors. So let's break open that lunch pail and unwrap that sandwich you brought and take a front row seat in the Brooklyn Cafe and get ready to enjoy some humor and hot topics. It's time to get a healthy serving of hope and happiness to help your day go by with a smile. Your hosts, Dawn and Freddie S., are ready to talk about food, health, dating, or just plain dream making. If you have a story to share, movie review, restaurant critique, or just a coincidental thing that happened to you, call in toll free 888-994-4995, Studio A right now. Sit back and enjoy your lunch break at the Brooklyn Cafe. Here are your hosts, Dawn and Freddie S.
That was a horrible
That
applause.
was not a very good applause.
What
was
happened?
it?
The applause ran out of juice? No, you just messed up. Welcome to the Brooklyn Cafe on a beautiful Tuesday afternoon. Wow. And they all giggle. They're like little girls. All of them. They all giggle. Today is Fat Tuesday.
Fat Tuesday it is.
Fat Tuesday means that you go to different places. I just found out Moe's takes $3 off a $10 order.
Welcome to Moe's.
McDonald's, 10 free chicken McNuggets. Taco Bell's, buy one, get one free, then it'll be the last thing you eat. So, just saying.
Welcome to Moe's.
And pancakes at the House of Pancakes, IHOP.
How do you celebrate Fat Tuesday, everyone? Good morning.
And you came up with a brilliant idea. It is March Madness hold on. Ooh. March Madness in NCAA basketball for men and women.
Yes.
So we are going to call it Merch Madness.
Merch blowout.
So we're going to be blowing it out. The kids are working today on merchandising your business. You know, one of the things that you can do is be your own billboard. Like, you can't afford a billboard. It's $8,000, $6,000 a month. Been there, done that. You can actually wear your merchandise and let people know who you are and what you represent. It's just, we call it colors.
There you go.
You know, wear your colors. Let people know. So we're putting little captions. You know, like, oh, I forgot to tell Bailey the one of Lent, what I'm giving up for Lent.
Hate.
Merch
Madness. On the morning show, we got to talk a little bit about the significance of Fat Tuesday, which I did not know, so I've learned quite a bit about. So today we celebrate Fat Tuesday. It is going into Ash Wednesday, so it is a huge celebration before people start giving up things for Lent, which starts, I guess, tomorrow. For Ash Wednesday, Friday, right? It's on Fridays. So today's our big celebration. Mardi Gras is going on, and we've got a lot of clips that'll be coming your way during our show today. We've got Justin Mooney of HHK joining us, Hinman Howard Incatel, and he is home waiting for a new baby. Oh, speaking of babies, congratulations. Happy birthday, Rowan. Your grandson is 4 years old today.
Ro is 4, going on 40.
So happy birthday to Rowan. Justin has got another Rowan on the way this week, so we'll see how that rolls out. We've got Steve Gubb, see what drink we're going to be making for Fat Tuesday, and we've got Dr. Hillary joining us today of Dr. Taylor's Holistic Community in the house.
And Steve Gubb is another one. Happy birthday, you're 4 today, got it?
Today's his birthday?
No, but he's 4.
Oh, yeah, well, the two of you guys together. Speaking of which, we're putting in commercials, and we're doing segments, and we're sending proposals. And what is Freddie doing? Playing football. Yeah.
That's because baseball is on strike.
And you've got football on your phone.
Yes, I do.
Do you see this?
So?
Look at Hillary. She's like, it's a guy. What's just a guy? I don't understand.
Wait a minute. Don't you guys go on apps and you talk on Facebook and all that?
Not when I'm
So I don't do
working.
that. Now I'm doing football.
Not when
And
you're
I'm
working.
winning. And I'm winning.
I see that, and he's still sitting.
No, something happened to my computer.
I know.
And I can't work, so I went to, it's either I go nuts or I play football.
Dr. Hillary, really?
So
You have,
I have no response.
do you have a couch, an inflatable couch I can lie down and tell you my problem? That's
And
too small.
see Dr. Hillary's couch. I love your shoes, by the way.
Thank you. Inspired by
The
You.
dress. Oh, inspired by me.
you always.
Oh, thank you.
I get to break out my nice shoes.
They're looking lovely. So, so nice.
Thank you.
Dr. Hillary's going to stay with us. We've got a king cake in studio, so everyone please come by, have some king cake, Taco Tuesday. We're going to have some fun with our crew today. Celebrate Fat Tuesday, New Orleans style in Boca. A little bit of fun. We've got Justin Mooney joining us, so should we send it over to Justin?
Yeah, let's
via
bring
VMix?
Justin up because he may
All right.
have to leave the set because his wife is giving birth.
Not today.
You don't know that.
I don't know that.
She could be in labor right now. She
Can you
don't know that.
imagine?
Any second.
All
You
right.
get that puddle of water and it's all over.
True that.
It's like the sea of.
All right, so let's do
It's way up.
Yeah, no baby yet.
no baby
Is she in the hospital yet?
No, she's still working. So her due date is this Friday. We were hoping he would be born today, so have a little Mardi Gras baby, but it doesn't seem like that's going to happen.
She's at work
Yeah, she's still working right now.
and you're home.
Yeah,
How does that work?
so I'm working
People want
remotely.
to know how that works.
How's that working for
Again,
you?
nothing surprises me.
She can't really admit some of these patients remotely to hospice, so but I can deal with all my client matters remotely right now.
He's getting ready for the diaper changes.
Sorry, I couldn't hear you.
The diaper changes. She's getting ready.
Yeah, for sure.
Slick, check the spelling on council, please. Yes. Are you on? Yes, 100%. So what is happening in the world of estate planning? It is taxes around the corner. Business taxes are due by March 15th. Personal taxes
Yeah.
allegedly by April 15th, unless you're like the rest of the world and you take an extension. What's happening?
Same old, same old. I've been meeting with more clients recently, and I've been explaining to them that you don't always want to go with whatever the default is that the state provides. So, like for a will, if you don't have a will when you die, everything goes to your spouse, and then equally to your kids if you don't have a spouse. And everyone's family relationships are a little bit different, and they might want to have someone get a certain trinket or certain tangible personal property, certain jewelry go to certain people, and it's something you want to take care of so you can avoid or at least limit the squabbles that you have among your heirs when you die.
Wills, power of attorney, your durable medical, or
Yeah. So also those documents, it generally goes to your spouse being the first decision maker, then followed by the majority of your children. But like I was talking to my wife, she deals with it all the time. Is sometimes someone doesn't have a spouse and there's 3 kids, and she can only get in contact with one kid. There can't be a majority to make the decisions. So you can avoid that by having your healthcare surrogate drafted up so that they just, the healthcare providers just look at that, and then whoever's the decision maker makes the decision in time, hopefully for any emergencies you may have.
Now, what happens if that particular person that's chosen, something happens to that person, they die? Then what happens?
So that's why I always recommend having at least one alternative in your documents, because especially a lot of people name their contemporaries, either someone that's their spouse who's, close in age, or they name their parents or their siblings. A lot of those people, depending on your age, may become incapacitated or may die before you. So you'd want to name, a lot of people name their adult children, usually when they're, over 25, 30, when they feel like they can trust them to make those decisions. But assuming, you put 5 people on your documents and all 5 of those people are unavailable or can't act, then it's going to go back to whatever the Florida proxy tree has.
now what if you're single, you don't have children, your parents are older than you, obviously. What are you finding single people are doing?
A lot of the times they name their friends. Sometimes I've been named. They want me to make their financial decisions or their healthcare decisions. So it's a lot more involved of a process of sitting down and getting to know. Financially, I know, make good financial decisions for them when investing their money. And then, make sure their bills are paid. But the medical is a little bit more complex. So it's a longer conversation to understand, do they have a do not resuscitate form? Do they have a living will in place? what do they want for their medical care if they're unable to make that decision for themselves. It can be stressful times, but I find that, that my clients can trust me. It's very, makes me feel good that they trust me with those decisions.
Because there's a lot of single parents that even maybe have young minor children, can't leave it to them.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't leave those decisions in their hands. So clearly it's got to go to somebody
Right.
else.
Right. Yeah. So you'd want to, at least have some friends and you can name
Friends.
them.
Or I guess you can name
Yeah.
a parent with an alternative if the parents had
Yeah.
deceased, right? Or a
Right.
sibling.
Yeah.
See if they've
You can
got
name
any
pretty
best
much
interest.
anyone, but it's that conversation I have with them to get an understanding of, well, how old are your parents? Do they live close? What about your siblings, your friends, your children, their ages, kind of their capacity to make these hard decisions? Because a lot of the time I've dealt with healthcare professionals that talk about having, children that just feel unable to make any certain decision because whatever they feel like they're going to do is going to be, disastrous. So that kind of goes back to what I always recommend is bring whoever you're naming in these documents, bring them into the conversation and let them know what's going on and, what you want to have happen if you can't make the decision and they're in that role.
I find it would be complicated because even you always say, you never know your children till you don't know your kids. So here you would leave your decision to your children, and yet their thought process as they get older and they get married and they have kids are maybe totally different as you see cremation.
No, I went down this road, and I tell my kids, I'm not letting you guys handle nothing when it comes to me, because they don't listen. It's only their way or the highway. I found out I was being cremated. I found out I was being put under a tree. I found out I was going to be a squirrel's nut. I said, forget about it. I am. And they go, why don't you trust me? No, I do not. Absolutely do not.
Do you think people are putting their documents more in place now because we're going into tax season?
I think it's just, more when they talk about finances, they worry about, all the things that go with it. Like, what if I'm unable to, make those decisions? Do I have all my documents in place generally is what people think about. But going back to what Freddie was saying, if you have any concern about your kids, not, following through with what you've told them you wanted, you can put specific instructions in your healthcare documents, stating that you want to be given pain medication or stay away from certain pain medication because some people are addicted to certain prescription drugs. So you can have that in there. And it's always good to just over direct, just put as much as you can into these documents to make sure that your wishes are fulfilled.
So we've got Dr. Taylor here. Have you met in person? Have you had the chance to meet Justin?
No.
All right, so you guys give me a 3-shot because she's sitting here shaking her head yes to what you're saying. So I need to find out why you are shaking your head yes.
Well, I think it's just a very important yet difficult conversation to have, and I'm all about the difficult conversations. So I know that as things come to light, as our choices, and we always talk about having a choice, as we understand what different choices we have, now the options are different. So now more people are being cremated. So I would understand why Freddie's children may be thinking, like, we don't want to pay for a box. We don't want to do this. We don't, we're claustrophobic. So we have our own thoughts in our heads about what we want, and we project them onto what we think our parents want. And they might just want a traditional funeral.
You're right. That's why we don't let them handle it.
My parents actually, we joke all the time about the fact that I'm the favorite child, but my brother is the preferred child. And the difference is when it comes to these decisions, because I'm so emotional, he becomes the decision maker. They have named him as the decision maker, and I am sort of like the second.
Are you good with that?
I'm more than okay with that. When I found out, I said, "See, he's preferred." But my parents sort of understand my personality, and they know if it came to the time where those decisions might need to be made, I might not be the most grounded person at that moment, even though I'd like to think that I can be. My brother's definitely more business minded, more let's get done what needs to be done, and I take in all the emotions. So
You know, it's funny you said that because I'm the youngest in my family, and my parents always left it to me. So my brother and my sister used to say, "Why? I mean, he doesn't know nothing." And my father used to say, "He knows more about being grounded and how to get things done." And I guess God did that challenge because I had to do it for my brother when he passed away.
But when
Wasn't
you're
easy.
making those decisions, now have you thought about putting your healthcare surrogate in your living will in place?
yes, so I had surgery, minor surgery, but because of what I do and what I've heard, and I guess the knowledge and the thoughts of death that I have thought about throughout the years, when I went in for surgery, I met with an attorney and I made sure that I had a living will, or, just even I do that with my clients sometimes. I go over what their wants, needs, and desires are so that it's written out just in case. And I know that my parents, if the choice has been left up to them, it's a very morbid topic to even bring up, but I know that they will have me attached to a machine for the rest of however long and be living with
Bring
that.
Justin back up, guys.
And that's not a choice that I would want for them. So I made sure that my wishes were written down. So in that case, they would go to my wishes.
And you did it through
and
an
not-
attorney.
I did it through an attorney.
But you work with clients and you ask them what they would want, and then
yes.
they go meet with someone like Justin.
So I believe Justin's wife probably goes through this a lot. And you mentioned that she's working with hospice. It's end of life issues. It's existential issues. It's things that people don't want to talk about, but need to talk about.
Yeah, but isn't the issue if you don't talk about it and you don't know what to do with it, you don't know how to handle it, there's your issue.
Absolutely.
When you take care of business, you'll be surprised there is no issues. And I wanted to ask Justin, a lot of people tell me, well, I'm 24. Why would I do all of this? Young people die too. Things happen to young people. And I was told from my two boys, who's going to be, they've never approached me. I'm hoping Michelle is, or their wives, or whatever they got going on. Because nobody's ever asked me as to what's the right, wrong, or the indifferent. But when you start asking people, man, you get stories. Like my sister, she gave me a different story I never expected. I said, did you get your paperwork done? And she says, no, I haven't. I've been looking into getting that done as well. But this, Justin, is not easy picking people that have the same philosophy that you want to have. They got their own.
But here's the nice thing about Dr. Hillary. You could be sort of the middle person. So
Sure,
you
I
talk to
think-
your client, you figure it out, and then Justin, you come on the other side. This way it's not, oh my gosh, I never thought about this. I have to talk to an attorney. You've already judged it. You've already opened the door, and then Justin just goes in and finalizes.
There's definitely a way to introduce it to
Right.
people. Working in the substance abuse community, I found that having an advance directive was not only therapeutic, but it just made sense. And for any parents who have children that are struggling with substances, it makes sense to have a real talk about what death is, what it means, what your, even as a young person, what your desires are. The idea of not being a burden, I think, is at the top of the majority of people's list. I don't want to be a burden to my family. So if that's the case, we are afraid of what we don't know. So take it out of being, like Freddie said, when we don't talk about it, it becomes a situation. So take it out of becoming a situation, address it as death is a part of life. That's just how it is. We can't deny that. So looking at it and saying, this is the reality of life, whether you choose to end your life earlier or something happens, God forbid, we need to know what to do.
Justin, have you ever worked with addiction facilities and putting these things in place for their patients?
No, not addiction facilities. A lot of the substance abuse things that I see is normally when parents have children that have those issues is putting money into trust for them to provide, so they don't get the money outright. That's mainly where I see that cross section. But I've had one or two clients that, they're sober and they want to make sure that they stay that way. And, we put into their documents things they want to avoid. Like I mentioned, if they had prescription drug abuse in their past, if they have to have surgery, they don't want to be given certain prescription drugs. It's kind of like you want to list all your allergies. You want to tell your doctor everything about that. It's similar with substance abuse. You want to make sure that you avoid these things not being given to you.
There's a lot of things, and the young people are important. I think if we had one of our interns was in a bad car accident. Now, if she didn't, thankfully she's fine, but if you're in school, your parents have really no rights to get your medical health information if you're over the age of 18. She happens
You gotta
to be
have
here.
a director.
But I don't really think people even know that because they think, okay, we're your parents, you go to school, and they will give us the information. Heaven
will
forbid you
not.
get sick. And they're not, but you will put paperwork in place for that also, correct?
Yeah, so it's generally protected under HIPAA that they won't release your medical records
Right.
unless you establish with the hospital or medical facility that you're the decision maker under the Florida proxy tree or that you're the designated healthcare surrogate. But so one of the forms I have is called a HIPAA authorization and release form, and it basically says that anyone that's named as my durable power of attorney or my healthcare surrogate, they can access my records.
So we should get
and-
that to all the college students, Justin,
Yeah.
as part of their welcome packet. I'm serious, especially the private universities where the parents they may be a little more involved, or why not go big? Why not go to FAU and go to some of our public and put this in the information packet that goes home to parents? If there's a way
Yeah.
to get you in there to say, you know what, this is the situation. At least let's have this document signed for a nominal fee to allow you to get the information. It could be interesting.
It should be a welcome packet because you're entering college and you never know what can happen.
They study abroad, all kinds of
and
things.
it's funny because when I went to college, I didn't fill none of that out. Something would have happened to me on the A train.
We didn't think about it.
On the way to NYU, I would have been thrown into the river or something. Who knows? Who
Never
knows?
thought about it until one of our friends said to us, well, the kids are studying abroad. We should really put some paperwork in place. And we thought, well, why? It's not because people don't do it. You just don't know. It's part of the education process of what you do when your kids go to school. So we need to get you into some of the colleges, Justin, and do a seminar.
Right.
Because you're close to their age. You're definitely part of the younger demographic and very relatable to them.
Thanks. I appreciate that.
I
Well,
think
you
we
know,
should
all
work
freshmen
on that.
go to freshman orientation.
Exactly.
And I'm sure that if we ask the colleges and the reasoning behind it, and there is no more important reason than what we just went through, and no more important reason than what we're going through, but the virus and things of that nature, it just makes sense.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You're working from home? People can contact you?
Yeah, they can contact me at my email, which is jmooney@hhk.com, or they can still call my office and have all the calls routed. So 561-276-1008.
And we'll make the connection with you and Dr. Hillary for her future clients.
Sounds
Once
great.
you open those conversations. They're not easy conversations to have.
No, not at all.
And for your parents, it's one thing, and for us, it's another. And for our kids, it's a whole another conversation.
It is. And it's all as important, if not more important, to get it done. And then once it's done, you're set. It's not like you don't have to do anything. You get married, you want to change things, you give Justin a call. You have kids, and their kids have kids, and, like you said, the circle of life, and it's all done. And I'm going to tell you, I wish I had met you. I told you this when I was in New York, because going through this stuff is not easy when you don't have it
Yeah.
done correctly.
Now, do you offer payment plans for people also?
Yeah, I offer payment plans. You know, you don't have to pay everything up front. Normally, we just pay as we go. You know, and whatever you're able to pay, we work it out.
That's another thing. People have the fear that they can't afford it. They don't want to meet with an attorney, so
Right.
they're just not going to do it. But if you
Yeah.
can work out a payment plan, that's the way to go.
It's amazing. People will buy $500 shoes, but they won't invest in themselves on something that has super value for the rest of their lives. I don't get it.
Yeah.
That's a conversation we should have with Dr. Hillary on financial priorities.
Yeah,
I have
money.
this conversation, I think, daily.
I was thinking about that.
Money
Now-
makes a difference.
Now, your financial priority is going to be this new baby coming
Yeah, 100%.
and donuts.
Yeah.
Justin, thank you so much for joining us. Contact Justin Mooney at HHK. In which office are you located in?
I'm in the Boynton Beach office.
Boynton Beach office. You keep us up to date on what's going on with your wife and the
Will
baby.
do.
We send you the best
Thanks
of
for having me.
everything. Thanks,
Love to.
Justin.
Take care.
Payment
Bye.
plan and college.
I'm going to
welcome
tell you,
packet.
you've opened up a Pandora's box.
The welcome packet. We're actually going to a career fair next
Yes.
month,
No, tomorrow,
April.
March.
No.
Yes.
Maybe you're going to a different than I am. I'm going to on April 20th.
I'm going tomorrow without you.
I don't know where you're going.
I think we should put together a packet.
A
Like
welcome
we
packet.
put something in her, we put something for him. There are certain aspects of kids going into college.
And Shane also.
Another one. There are certain aspects that kids going into college, this could be vital information because you still talk to your mom and your dad or your mom or your dad or somebody when you go to school the first day. I can't say it happens the second day, but I can say it happens the first day because you're all pumped up.
All pumped up.
All pumped up and you go, Mom, I'm in college. And so you bring home the paperwork and they'll say, okay, we should do this. And it's good. The second day, it all changes. Mom, get away from me. I'm in college.
Well, you got orientation a couple months ahead of time, so I think we should put some of this information in orientation packages around the schools in our
agree.
area.
I think it's a good
Shane
idea.
and Justin, and just the basics. They don't need to do everything, but just at least the HIPAA, so your parents or your guardian can get access to you. Heaven forbid they need to.
It's a good
have
idea.
You don't have to call in a proxy and a guardianship through the courts. Everything's already signed off on. So.
And Shane's Farnsworth, you should take his paperwork and put it in the glove compartment.
Yep, we actually just referred him to somebody today.
Yep, and if you're in an accident and you get hit, whatever, you take it out of the glove compartment and it tells you exactly what to do. Because sometimes you can't think straight. So what happened to her?
Should
They
go
could-
into the high schools.
That
That's
absolutely.
another. That's
Good
that's a big
idea.
one. That's
Good
a big
idea.
one.
All right, let's take a commercial break. When we come back, more with Fat Tuesday. We've got Steve Gubb joining us of Gubbarum. I don't know what we're making, but Slick wants to make a hurricane. So let's see what Steve's got on the menu. Stay tuned, and we'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Dr. Hillary Cook at DrTHC. I'm a doctor in clinical psychology and now practice as a certified life coach. At Dr. Taylor's Holistic Community, we will work together using a holistic approach to improve and maintain your wellness and take the first steps towards creating the life that you want, need, and deserve. Call me today at 1-833-552-4442 and remember drthc.net.
Meet Jay Harmon, one of the many artists held in the Brooklyn Cafe Gallery. Jay specializes in various different art styles, but his medium to work with is colored pencils. His unique style comes from being self-taught and years of practice. Jay pulls his inspiration from many outlets like people, television, celebrities, and many more. With multiple original pieces, Jay's art graces the gallery with over 40 plus works for viewing and for purchase. His many years of being an artist has given him a chance to partner with the Derwent brand, giving him the opportunity to try many different work styles and further his craft. Feel free to come on down and visit the studio to view his work, or if you're interested in your own Jay Harmon original, he's open to commissions on his website, coloredpencilartist.com, Or catch his show, The Colored Pencil Artist, on Amp Media Productions on YouTube and Facebook. See you soon.
We hope you're enjoying this episode of the Brooklyn Cafe TV show. Whether you enjoy watching in the mornings or afternoons, you can now watch with your favorite merchandise. Choose from the Brooklyn Cafe t-shirts, ranging from sizes small to 3XL. Colors available include black, dark heather, and navy. Feeling chilly? Just check out our latest hoodie with over 9 colors to choose from. Sip on some Brooklyn Cafe coffee with Dawn and Freddie in a matching mug as seen on set. Brooklyn hats and special seasonal items are always popping up and available upon request. To purchase, you can visit our online store at brooklyncafe.tv/shop. Happy shopping!
With enough butter, anything is good. Tori Wells from Precious Treasure Gourmet Foods thinks so, because she single-handedly updated and expanded butter's possibilities. From compound, savory, sweet, and spicy, her freshly made butters aim to please. I don't know about you, but I've never really seen butter this versatile before, and now so feasible. With online shopping, just visit PreciousTreasuresGourmetFoods.com, because at Precious Treasures, Tori is working on the best artisan gourmet foods to every table. Remember, guys, true love is like butter. There's no substitute for the real thing.
Welcome to Lost Harbor Spirits, a world where pirates inspire our spirits, treasures remain undiscovered, and flavors are infused with the essence of mysterious voyages. The distillery became one of the few women-owned craft spirits production sites in the U.S. From our award-winning spirits of vodka and rum to delicious gin, we're always coming up with some new and exciting flavors to keep your cocktails delicious and fresh. Proudly distilling out of West Palm Beach, Florida, Lost Harbor Spirits is a true treasure waiting to be discovered. Contact Palm Beach Distillery at lostharborspirits.com to take a tour or purchase your favorite spirit at your local liquor store.
Being a successful woman in business means having the courage to own who you are. We understand the challenges faced by women, and we are here to help. Our team is here to develop the best strategy designed just for you. Your path is unique, and with the right tools, you can accomplish your dream. From radio to TV, from podcasting to magazines, we create the visibility to amplify your impact in business. At New Dawn Media, we are here to help bring your message forward and help your business flourish. It is time for your message to be seen and your voice to be heard. Contact us at 866-224-5422 or brooklyncafe.tv. Your voice can make a difference.
You've been watching the Brooklyn Cafe Show. Join us each day and after hours as we talk about the hot topics to open the conversations and share a few laughs. Now, back to Dawn and Freddie S.
Where are the beads?
It was a hard decision on the beads or not. I wanted beads until you all told me how you get beads. And then I'm like, oh, maybe I shouldn't be wearing beads.
Oh, man. This portion of the show is brought to you by Gubba Rum, you want to play the transition? Thank you.
I did not know.
You buy Gubba Rum. It's wicked smooth.
I tell you, you know something? Beads. Okay.
I never knew the bead story until maybe a month ago.
I went down, when I went to New Orleans, we went on, what is it, Bourbon Street? And I go, it's 1 o'clock in the morning. It reminded me of the Bronx, because nothing goes to sleep in the Bronx. It wakes up at 12. So I go to Bourbon Street, and there's all sorts of nightlife going on. And they're throwing beads and showing bees, and D's and E's and F's and G's from the top of the, right? That's what they do. And they go, woo, woo, woo.
Never knew that's how you got the beads.
That's how you get the beads.
I never knew. I'm telling
And
you.
people are throwing beads. I got hit in the eye with a bead. I wasn't even doing anything. So they found a spot for me in one of the jazz clubs over by the piano and the sax and stuff. And they said, here, Papi, you sit there. They call me Papi. That's what they call me. So I sat there. They brought me a drink about the size of my arm. It was a hurricane. Yeah, that's what it was. And I sat there all night. It's like
a
huge.
yard, right?
And it glows in the dark.
And my God, they give you a straw and they gave me glasses. I had feathers. I was unconscious. I was there till 6 in the morning.
Oh my gosh.
When then they're going home. And they give you a broom. If you stay till closing, they give you a broom.
I'm in.
And you have to sweep.
I'm good at that.
You should see 20 drunk people sweeping. It was the funniest thing I've ever seen. But I had a great time.
Oh, you're hilarious. I think we got Steve on because how can we have Fat Tuesday without some Gubba Rum?
He better be dressed up.
Let's see what he's got because we're ready to make a hurricane, I think, Steve.
Where's Mr. Gubba?
There he is.
You're not dressed.
Go marching in. Oh, when the saints go marching in. Did you see me in the parade? I had the purple umbrella. That was me with the beads. That was me last night.
We saw you.
You saw me. I'm glad. You know, the funny thing about Bourbon Street is that, Freddie, you said there was great nightlife on Bourbon Street. The nightlife is still going 10 a.m. the next morning. It's amazing.
For about 3 weeks.
All day
For
long.
about 3 weeks. Yeah, it's nuts. It's so nuts.
Do you know what the umbrellas stand for?
Get out of the rain.
That's a
No.
good point. It stands for the beginning of life together.
Aha.
That's
Okay.
what I read today.
Really? We should have the umbrella piece on, the walking in the rain piece on the set today.
We should have brought in colored. I have an idea. In the merch store, because it's Merch Madness, Steve.
Merch Madness.
Your face is going to be put on a shirt. God
Your
help
shirt's
us all.
going in our merch store.
Okay.
And I think we should get colorful umbrellas with the little tassels and have Mardi Gras at one day a month.
I'm all in.
You know? What do you
yeah,
think?
that
One day a month.
I can have a cinnamon rum and some bun and cinnamon rum. I don't
What's
know.
wrong with your mouth?
Cinnamon bun and Gubba Rum. Try and say that a couple times.
Joey says you're Hubba Gubba. Is that like a new thing? You're Hubba Gubba?
You know, Joey can say anything he wants if he comes through big time. That's the key.
Well, he's going to come through. You're still going to be Hubba Gubba either way.
So what are we making
either
today?
way.
Steve, what kind
Either
of
way,
drink?
hey, I have to apologize to Slick. In honor of Fat Tuesday in the city of New Orleans, we are not making a hurricane, although a hurricane did originate there. I came up with another one, which is pretty cool. It's called a Vue Carré.
Oh.
Okay, and what's fun about this to me is that it was created by a guy named Walter Bergeron in the 1930s. He was a bartender at the Carousel Bar at the Hotel Monteleone. So
I know him.
Did you know he was? Didn't you date his sister, Freddie?
Yes, I did.
Right. I heard all about that. That was a big night in the French Quarter.
One of the biggest nights in the history of French Quartering.
That's right, and they still talk about it. They really
I'm
do,
sorry they
especially-
do.
Especially the Vice Squad. They talk about it to this day.
What do we need for our drink?
Okay, well, today we're going to take you through it right now. This is a pretty cool drink.
and I do apologize. It's not made with rum, gubba or otherwise. This is made with rye whiskey. Rye whiskey, and we're using today. We are using Redemption. How does this work? There it is. Redemption Rye Whiskey.
I've never had rye whiskey.
Okay, well, I do. And I'm the one making it, so it's okay. We're doing the best we can.
Let me show you
We're
something.
also going to be using Remy Martin Cognac, VSOP.
Wow.
And I'm going to tell you about this bottle. This bottle is about 65 years old.
I'm going to tell you something. Hold on a second. Before, I'm going to tell you, Freddie,
Yes.
the Brooklyn Cafe is always ready. I have a signed redemption bottle of bourbon
All right. All
by
right.
the owner of the company.
Oh, my God.
But we're not
Well,
allowed to open this. But
Well,
we'll
so
keep
what-
we'll keep it here just as a picture sake.
Freddie, I'll tell you what. I'll sign that white label Gubba rum bottle for you next time I'm down there, and you'll have that. I don't
Well,
know
we have
what
a
it's gonna
guy
be
who
worth,
does it
but-
on bottles. Yes, I have that. I have that.
All right, so we've got some Redemption rye. Does it
We've got
taste like
Redemption-
rye? Like rye bread?
No. We're not going to have a pastrami sandwich. We're
I've
gonna
never
make a
had it.
cocktail.
What's it taste like?
Rye whiskey? It tastes like whiskey.
Oh, okay. That's bourbon. That's different than
Nobody
rye.
needs to know that.
But that's why I've never had rye. Ever had it, Hillary?
Rye bread.
It's whiskey, Dawn. It's just whiskey, but made with a different grain. Whiskey
Gotcha.
can be made from corn. It could be made from grain. In this case, this is rye whiskey.
Interesting. All right, so we've got some rye and some cognac.
So I'm gonna take you through it right now. We've got 3/4 of an ounce. We're gonna start with the Remy Martin. 3/4 of an ounce of cognac is going into my little glass right here. I'm sorry you can't see it.
Remy Martin.
Then we're going to take 3/4 of an ounce of Redemption rye. I need more Redemption than 3/4 of an ounce. I need a lot of Redemption.
Yeah, you do.
I do. I need Redemption.
I'll make a hurricane while
So
he's
we've
doing
got.
that.
Then we've got 3/4 of an ounce of rye whiskey. Hey, this is going to be good. I'm going to like this. We do 3/4 of an ounce of very fresh Martini and Rossi. Is that right? There it is. Martini and Rossi sweet vermouth.
Wow.
I'm actually prepared today, and I should get like a bonus for that.
I see that. I'm impressed.
3/4 of an ounce of sweet vermouth. We're going to take now. Talk about a relic. This is a real relic. I said that Remy Martin bottle was about 65 years old. This could be, I think, from the Benedictine monks in France in 1680. Honest to God, this is the oldest bottle in the universe, but it's still good, and we love it. This is 2 teaspoons. We need 2 teaspoons of this.
What is this? What is that?
Benedictine liquor. Benedictine liqueur.
Wow.
It's a brandy. Seriously, it's made by the Benedictine monks in France.
That sounds amazing.
Let's see.
That's an
I think it's
expensive
made-
bottle.
Well, it should be. It's about 1,000 years old. This was actually made by the Romans in 452 A.D. This is really old stuff. So anyway, we're going to put this in here, 2 teaspoons. Again, I apologize that you can't see it. I need better stage props, Freddie. And then last but not least, I'm going to do 4 dashes of Peugeot aromatic bitters. So we go
Wow.
1, 2, 3, 4, a couple extra.
My God, he can't
what
count
I
the
don't have,
4.
unfortunately, is a lemon twist. But what we're going to now do, very simply, is stir that around.
It was going good to the bitters.
You don't like the bitters?
No.
We're going to stir that around. We're going to pour it. Now that
I'm
we've
going to
stirred
shake
it-
and you're going to stir.
Yeah, you're going to shake. Mine is stirred, not shaken. Yours is shaken, not stirred. We're going to pour it into a nice little cocktail glass here from France,
you are the,
which fits with our New Orleans
You are an
motif.
interesting bartender.
I get a big chunk of ice.
In honor of Fat Tuesday, Dawn, Freddie, and the Cafe TV show. The
Happy Fat
extravaganza.
Tuesday.
Cheers, Fat Tuesday. Happy Fat Tuesday.
Oh, that smells delicious.
That is delicious. Steve, I want to try that when you come back next time, too.
Hey, this is not bad at all. This is very good. I've never had this one before.
Wow.
You better bring the Romans with you because we don't
I'll
find
bring
that
the
down
Romans.
here.
The
What they
Benedictine
do is
monks?
They stomp on the mash whiskey with their leather sandals after they go through Britain.
I love when people ask us what we do and what I highlight, and I say we get to do a lot of day drinking.
Wow, this is really good.
Thank
That
you.
is good.
Where'd you make this? Or where'd you learn this?
You and Slick. It's scary when I'm making a drink from Freddie and Slick, right?
Wow.
That's
Here's our Gubba Rum Hurricane, and then yours is called a
Vue Carré.
Vue Carré.
Vue.
I want-
V-O, Vue Carré, which means in French it means old square, sort of like St. Peter's Square in New Orleans type of deal.
Nice.
I don't want to throw away any more Gubba bottles.
Gonna turn them into microphones?
no.
I'm going to fill it with this stuff. This is, I'm going to tell you, this, all kidding aside,
This
is
is a good one.
unbelievable.
We've got that, and we've got a king cake.
Oh,
And we
wait,
just keep
that's
going.
right. I'm sorry. I did not point out that I see your king cake in honor of Fat Tuesday.
Fat Tuesday.
Fat Tuesday. Freddie, you of course shouldn't even be touching that.
I'm not touching it.
You're not-
I'm nothing to do with it. It's nothing
That's
to
like,
do with it.
that's. I don't want to say that that's the kiss of death, but boy, oh boy, if there ever was one, that's it.
I keep my hands in my pocket.
And we wonder why, you know. But you know what? We have to celebrate for today because tomorrow is Ash Wednesday.
Tomorrow's-
So
It's day. We're gonna be doing the Ash Wednesday thing tomorrow.
when are you coming down?
I think next Thursday.
Oh,
Next
How long are you
Thursday.
staying?
Well, it really depends on a couple of things. I'm very happy to tell everybody in your viewing and studio audience that we have confirmed participation next weekend, March 11th and 12th, I believe are the dates, at the Miami Rum Congress, which is going to be a huge event. I'm really looking forward to doing that, and it should be an enormous amount of fun. The next weekend is the Food, Wine, and Spirits event in Coconut Grove on, I think it's the 19th of March. So we're going to be having some great things going on in Florida in the next 2 to 3 weeks. And I really am looking forward to being back in Miami and South Florida. This is great. This is a lot of fun. We hope everybody has a fabulous Fat Tuesday.
happy Fat Tuesday. So you'll be in for a couple weeks next week.
I'll be in, let's call it 10 days.
Nice.
Listen, I got some brand new strangers for you to ask whether or not they have a room at the inn. All from the airport. He finds strangers and
Are
Do
they-
you ever need a roommate, but not really a roommate?
That's great. Hey, Freddie, are they already convicted felons, or is that something we can work on?
Do you cook?
Some are still on. Some are still in court, but it looks like they
Okay,
will
yeah,
be.
I'm a
Yes.
hell of a cook, Don. I am one hell of a cook. Don't ever forget it.
If I didn't already have,
Well, he doesn't
One.
come until next
If she
week.
didn't have a roommate, then, you know, part-time, she's always looking for a cook and someone to hang.
Who said? I didn't hear who
a
said
cook
that.
and a
Hillary.
butler would be
A butler.
a
She
butler.
needs a butler
Like
and
just
a cook.
Can we
answer
talk
the
to Hillary
door
up, you
for
guys?
me.
Is that the good doctor speaking?
Yes. Have you met?
The
Yes.
good doctor. No, I don't think we have met.
Yes, we have
I
met.
happen to have a tuxedo and can perform the butler function in accordance with all of the rules of
Let's go to
formality.
3, please.
No need, but I'll take it.
She has a roommate for the next 3 weeks, maybe the next time around.
Well, what can I say? You know,
You can stay in the garage.
the garage is always good. What?
There's always room at the inn. Well, I'm glad you're coming back down.
Thank you so much. I look forward to seeing you again.
It is, and
Good
there she
doc-
is.
to the-
There's the good doctor.
Can we drink? Can we drink to the good doctor? We're drinking to the good doctor. Happy
Cheers.
Fat Tuesday, and enjoy your day. What are you drinking? What are you drinking? Iced tea?
It's the hurricane she made.
I'm drinking it.
She's
Well,
drinking
her-
iced tea. We got a hurricane. We are not
got-
diabetic friendly today, unfortunately. Steve is, though.
No, well, this is pretty good though.
Mine is. Crystal Light.
There is nothing. There is nothing better then Gubba. What's this one? In an iced tea.
This is actually both. That has
There's
both
nothing
in
better
it.
than Gubba and iced tea. All kidding aside, it is. Once you have it, you can't stop drinking it. I'm telling you, it's really good.
Well,
I have things to do. It's Tuesday.
Yeah, well, the day is young.
All right, Steve. I know you're off. Thanks for joining us today on Fat Tuesday.
Thank you very much. We'll talk to you in another couple of days.
Sounds
Cheers.
good. Cheers, everyone.
Cheers.
All right. Cheers to you. Happy Fat Tuesday. We're going to take a commercial break. When we come back, more at the Brooklyn Cafe Show, Fat Tuesday. Let's see what the crew's got lined up and if the tacos have come in.
Josh Square's here.
Is he?
Mm-hmm.
How about that? All right, stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Since 9 years old, Gina Presser has created enchanting, whimsical art. She conjures pieces from real stories and artistically expresses the feelings had from them. Achieved with Italian papers, paints, flowers, metals, and clays. Her eccentric finishing touch is her glittery diamond dust cascaded across her paintings and pottery. Gina Presser also hosts weekend art camps, teaching adults and children pottery, painting, and jewelry. Her work can be found in multiple staging homes, family Christian bookstores, and in New Jersey boutiques. For more information, Gina can be reached at livinglifeartfully@gmail.com or by phone at 954-857-5444.
Cool, calm, collected. Needing a drink to end a long day, or maybe to start your vacation right? Gubba Rum is here to let you kick back and do just that. Inspired by a technique that dates back to the 1800s, these artisanal, organic, and naturally infused rums are made from pure cane and the finest fruits, spices, and herbs the world has to offer. Gubba Silver is infused with naturally shredded coconut, and Gubba Gold is infused with real vanilla bean. Simply shake and enjoy. Visit gubbarum.com to find the nearest location to buy or enjoy. All establishments have personally reviewed and enjoyed firsthand the wicked smoothness of Gubba Rum. 35% ABV and 70 proof. Gubba Rum, it's wicked smooth.
Welcome to Mini Donut World, where the donuts are hot, fresh, and delicious, made to order and customizable by you. Gourmet specialty flavors such as apple pie, French toast, campfire, and strawberry cheesecake are always popular. Looking to tailor your appetite? Build your own mini donuts. Choose from over 18 flavored donut bases, add on your icing flavor, and choose from over 15 toppings and drizzles. While kids enjoy our design your own kits to take home, our 21 and over customers love our alcohol-infused donuts. Come visit Mini Donut World at 8763 Sterling Road in Cooper City. Have questions or want to place an order? Give us a call at 954-369-2301. We know you will love each bite of our deliciously distinctive mini donuts.
Have you been injured in a car accident, slip and fall, or through the negligence of another? The lawyers at Shane M. Farnsworth, PA have over 40 years of combined experience representing injured individuals and their families. Call us today at 561-272-8337 for a free case evaluation and the answers to your legal questions. Were you injured in an accident that wasn't your fault? Don't let the insurance companies take advantage of you. Contact us now to learn about your options and to protect your rights.
Once a professional musician, artist Steven Zwirn uses his creativity through multimedia artistic expression. His compositions use acrylic paint to create 3D masterpieces. Steven's fascination with brilliant colors and intriguing patterns with jewels and rhinestones entices the eye with color and dimension. For more information on the artwork of Steven Zwirn, contact Steven at 914-656-9060 or StevenZwirn, ZWIRN.com.
You've been watching the Brooklyn Cafe Show. Join us each day and after hours as we talk about the hot topics to open the conversations and share a few laughs. Now, back to Dawn and Freddie S.
And that was what do I look like? 1.
That was a nice countdown. 1, and back to you guys. This segment of the show brought to you by 1.
What are you, the Cookie Monster?
1. Yes.
Wow, I got to tell you.
What was his name? The Count from Sesame Street?
Yes.
This show brought to you by the number 1.
And Elephantitis. What was the name of the elephant?
Snuffleupagus.
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 Snuffleupagus. That guy.
So, very exciting news.
Yes, this portion is brought to you by Add in the Boca magazine, which is coming out next month.
Absolutely.
You guys finished it up? Is it done?
I think it's done.
Now, in that magazine, you're going to see something very, very different. And if you see the tickets, if you find the tickets and you tell me where they are, you will win 2 tickets to either the Movies of Del Rey or the Movies of Lake Worth. Very, very cool.
So what do they have to do? Call in, write in?
Either or, it doesn't make a difference. You'll win 2
Contact
tickets.
us.
Yep.
When you find
Unless you work for the show. If you work for the show, you can't take advantage.
888-994-4995. Josh is on the board.
Yes. And the other thing is, in there, my hat, if you scratch with your fingernail my hat and you take a whiff, you'll smell our delicious coffee.
That would be kind of cool, though.
Or something else.
But I'm liking Merch Madness.
Or something else.
This day in history, March 1st, 1969, Mickey Mantle announced his retirement
Yes,
from baseball.
that's the day that
What
baseball
year did
died.
he play?
Before
He
1969.
retired in 69?
Mickey Mantle, he retired because of his legs.
How old was he?
I think he only played, how many years did Mickey Mantle play? 12, 11? He couldn't, when Mickey Mantle died, it's like Lou
This is what
Gehrig.
happens when we day drink. And you don't have a mic.
There's Barry Bonds, A6, please. There's Barry Bonds. There's Big Poppy. There's Dan Ugla. Baseball didn't die.
You like baseball?
It just
Al
transformed.
Ripken? She's like, no.
That's because he never saw the greats play. He didn't see Mickey. He didn't see Joe DiMaggio.
You didn't see Jackie Robinson.
He didn't see Jackie Robinson. He didn't see Babe Ruth. He didn't see Willie Mays to say, hey, kid, I'm going to tell you something about Willie Mays, man. What an athlete. Athlete he was. He caught a ball this way in the World Series and turned around, threw the guy out trying to run to the next base. Unbelievable athlete. I got to see Willie Mays play.
They've updated our software.
What are you talking about?
We've got all new
Mike
motivational
Trout?
Did that
quotes
yesterday.
on this.
Gio did that
The
Mike
heart
Trout?
of the follow your dreams.
What was that?
Mike Trout. Like you forget about all these
Greatest
good
ball
players.
player in the modern time. Plays on a.
Mike Trout?
He
Mike
plays
Trout.
on a,
Who's
he
he
plays
play
on
for?
a crappy team, the Angels, and Trout was there. But hold on. Last year the Angels had the second greatest ball. This guy, this Japanese player,
Is that JPL riled up in there?
he pitches and plays
baseball
the field.
didn't die.
This guy is an amazing specimen. But even with Mike Trout there, they didn't win. It goes to show you, you need more than that.
It's the team. It's the team that's
You
around
need
him. He's
pitcher.
a good player.
No pitching, no winning.
Very interesting. All right, let's bring Dr. Hillary up. She's been hanging out with us very
See
patiently.
the psychology of these millennials? They stay dormant for like an hour and a half.
They're hungry.
And then all of a sudden,
Then you
they're
gave them
hungry.
alcohol.
They start to talk.
No, we've learned there are some in here that should not have.
Bailey's not allowed to drink.
This portion of the Brooklyn Cafe is brought to you by Dr. Taylor's Holistic Community. Needing a reset back to balance? Dr. Taylor is here to assist and remove the anxieties from your life to keep you grounded and at peace.
It is important to stay connected and have a community. If you need one, we are here for you. Dr. Taylor's Holistic Community, we always have your back.
And there she is. Nice job, Slick. I like it a lot.
We're going to have
Like
a
it
little
a
chit
lot.
chat. That's
Let's
why
make
you have
sure-
no sound.
Let's make sure Dr. Taylor's mic is on. I think she's
Yes.
on A2.
I'm good.
She's on A2. She's good.
A2.
Can you believe it's March 1st?
I feel like February and January were 2 of the longest months
For you or for your clients?
for me.
Why?
wow, I have no idea why. They just felt like they were really long.
I feel like everything has flown by, and we started January, and no one was happy with January. So February 1st came, and they said, redo, reset. And I don't know. I remember having this conversation, and now we're March 1st, and I'm thinking, wow, we're going into birthday month for you and me. And
yeah, I'm not very happy about that.
you should be, because you know what the alternative is?
What's
Not
the
having
alternative?
a birthday month. So I'm very thankful that we're having one.
Yeah, that's because you're younger than me. When you get to be my age, you're going to say,
It's still better than my grandmother
You get
says.
nuts-
Every day
you
you
get
wake
nuts
up,
at
it's
your
still
age.
better than the alternative. Yes, because I'm a woman and 55. And this is a whole other situation.
I wanted to ask Doc, you know, a lot of pressure in getting older. Women especially feel that getting older is like this death sentence.
Because our hips keep spreading, and it's a thing.
And it begins. Yes. But they don't understand the duress that they put the men under. Men suffer because women constantly complain. Is there a remedy for this besides Elmer's glue?
I'm confused by the question. You want to fix women?
No, I want women to stop complaining.
Weren't you the one playing football? While
And isn't Justin the one home while his wife is due and she's at work? Are we like on a Freaky Friday?
Well, what's
I'm, I'm still confused by the question.
Wait a minute, what is wrong with playing football? It's a game.
At work.
You play it in your hand.
That's why I love it here.
Work.
What's wrong with it?
Work.
Nothing.
My computer is down. So rather than to go insanely crazy, I turn on this little football game I have that my son Gio has sent to me. And it's very good. It's fun. But that isn't what I'm talking about. I'm talking about women complain about aging.
Women complain about everything.
Everything. But I'm just picking this one for this show. This
Because
one
our
specific.
bodies change so much more than men's bodies.
It's not true. Men get the belly, they get the hair where it don't belong. There's a lot of stuff.
Women talk about it.
I think that you're right.
Men don't talk about it. I think there's more to men getting older than they'd like to admit, even to us. And the majority of the men that I used to test for dementia used to be brought in by their wives who said, my husband, he's losing his memory. And we found out, more likely than not, there's no memory problem. There's selective hearing problems. So I mean, yeah, I don't know what to tell you, Freddie. You just accept and deal.
There's no cure for this.
You know what's
No
so
cure.
funny is I grew up in a house where my mother will repeat things 3 to 5 times the same thing. And I must be a selective hearing thing until my father shall be like, Mike, I heard you the first time. Then why don't you answer me? All right. So I've become accustomed to saying things multiple times. Oh. So even today, when Bailey was asking for an address, very softly, Slick goes, 2400. And I'm thinking, wow, he heard her the first time she said something. Does that mean you hear me the first time I say things?
All the time.
You just don't answer?
Of course not.
Which is why I realized that Slick
I'm supposed to answer?
That Slick hears me too the first time.
We all do.
But nobody
We
answers.
always hear what you say.
When he answered Bailey today, I realized they hear what they want to hear, or you answer what you want to answer.
It's not that.
What is that?
Sometimes you don't present a question. What you present is a very strong statement. And we don't know how to answer it. You're not doing this correctly. That's not a question.
But I don't ever say that.
Oh, you do it all the time.
I went in and I found it. So, yes, it's a thing. It's selective
Oh,
hearing.
no, that's something.
It's a thing. And then it's what did they hear?
Yes, that's
differs usually from what did you say.
The perception of it.
So there's communication issues.
So when my kids were growing up, it was very big to do these I messages. So my daughter's almost 30, my son's 27. That generation was very big on the I feel this when you do that. I feel hurt when you bully me. I feel sad if I'm not invited to a party. And I feel like now that generation is very in tune with those feelings, almost to a point where they're not always functioning. They're very into their I feel messages. I feel this at work. Okay, but now that 30-something, you still got to work. Are you seeing this with your clients? I feel like the transition into adulthood didn't quite happen. They took these I feel messages, which are very important, and sometimes it's not transitioning into the work world.
So last week you asked me a question about what is the word? Coincidences. Is everything because of something else? And I said, well, that's not always you can't just use that as an excuse. And we've talked about self-care and the limits of what's the difference between like a self-care day and I don't want to go to school versus I'm not going to school anymore. It's a self-care day, and blaming things on that. So I guess taking the easy way out is sort of what you're alluding to by the I'm relying on.
Well, there's a whole lot of talk going on and maybe not a whole lot of work. There's a whole lot of conversation happening around the work.
So yes, so your question was twofold. One, no, my clients have difficulties with putting into words what they feel.
Okay.
They may not even be aware of the range of emotions. The Disney film Inside Out came out and it was talking about the 5 emotions, but there are way more than 5. So part of my job is to figure out, okay, you're feeling angry, but anger is not a full emotion. There's a lot of anger can mean a lot of things. So identifying real feelings is part of what I do and I help people do. And then not using it as a crutch. And I think that that's more of what you're talking about, is kind of taking that and saying, well, I feel like I'm not valued, so I'm just not going to go to work.
Right.
But let me ask a question.
You can't do that.
Let me ask a question in relation to the example she's giving. Different perspective, because part of what you go through is you may see things one way, and then somebody else will present to you another way. Then you have to make the adjustment to adding different parts to this equation. So I'm going to add an adjustment here. Sometimes when you have think tanks, when you have a group of minds, and everybody's thinking about how to go to the next level, and there are multiple projects on the table, they become withdrawn. This is what I've noticed, especially millennials. When you're in the room, when we're in the room, it changes. When we're not in the room, and they're themselves, and you listen, it changes. So I think that a lot of what you're describing to me, there's a lot of adjustments that you have to make. And I'm going to allude it back because now you're wiser. You've gotten a little older. Mm-hmm. You know the business better. She found things today that I'm going to tell you, I gave up on it because I don't know what Slick is, his language. I don't understand the kid.
Now, let me explain to you. Slick's got a language and Freddie has a language. And Slick did something in a slick way, and Freddie moved it. But then you have to think, how would Freddie think, and where would Freddie put it? So Freddie put it in a place that you have to think like Freddie, but you also have to think like Slick. I found it. That's the scarier thing, is that I actually found what I was looking for.
But I didn't know what I was looking for.
But I did.
She did. So sometimes the adjustment of what you think is going on is you have to look at it from different perspectives.
So you help your clients get in touch with their feelings?
I do. So a lot of my clients come to me because they're in a state of being overwhelmed for whatever reason. And overwhelmed is a very general feeling. You're overwhelmed because what? I don't know. That's usually the state of panic, the state of crisis, the state of I need a therapist or somebody to talk to. That's what gets people in my door. Usually until that happens, until it takes a crisis, people would rather spend $500 on a pair of shoes, like you were talking about earlier. Their priorities for themselves may be different. And so once we get past that initial crisis, it's more about, okay, well now it's emotional regulation. It's experiencing the feelings before you get in crisis. What are those feelings that tell me I'm moving towards crisis so that I'm aware and I can stop it ahead of time?
But you're more than a therapist. You're more than crisis.
Yes, I'm a day-to-day coach, and that's why I make myself accessible on text. All of my communication with people is over the phone. It's way more personal in a way, even though it's not face-to-face. It can be face-to-face if they're local, but it's more engagement than a regular therapist usually has. It's more of those whole stop. Somebody telling you in that moment while you're panicking, stop, breathe. What is going on? What are you feeling? What is that telling? How is that changing? Like Freddie was talking about, how do we need to now open ourselves to other possibilities of what's happening and respond potentially in a different way instead of stress and panic and fear, and say, okay, well, I can process this differently. And what if it's a different story than the one that you're telling yourself?
Or the one that you're giving off to others, right? So I can be stressed, and you may know I'm stressed, but you may not understand why I'm stressed. You may think it's one thing, but I know it's another, right? Until we actually have the conversation.
But I don't try to figure out why. Because that is a long and winding
But if
road.
I was having a hard time functioning here, if I couldn't get up in the morning and get here, if I couldn't make a decision of what chair to use and what set to put up, I would have to say to Dr. Hillary, listen, I need to function at work, but I can't even make these simple decisions. Can you help me?
And that's when it comes down to you're in a state of being overwhelmed, when you cannot even make the simplest of decisions. So it's about we've talked about grounding and becoming clear and what that means to you and how to figure out what feels right to you, because if you're worried about other people's, what are other people going to think? So that's going to influence your decision making. And if you're not confident with any part of yourself, you're going to question everything that you do. And the minute Freddie says, I don't like that, you're going to take it personally because it was a personal decision, and it doesn't have to be. So I help people take out the emotions and just see things for the facts. So a simple question of what nail color should I get? Sounds like a very simple answer for most people and a silly question. But these are things that people who are already in the overwhelmed feelings cannot make a decision, find themselves staring
I've
at
seen that.
100. I mean,
30
I watch
to pick
people
a nail color. Yeah.
just pick a color. And so with a very caring, compassionate heart, I can say, hey, it's going to be off in 2 weeks. Just pick a color. And if need be, make that decision for them, which a psychologist might not do. So I'm more directive. I'm more active. If need be, I do make decisions for people because it's not about that moment. It's moving past that moment, getting them unstuck. And if I need to make that decision, sure, hang that painting. Then that's what I'll need to do until you can do it on your own.
Well, do you think people spend too much time in their own heads trying to understand why they're picking? Like, you can make a decision and then sit there for the next 3 days as to why did I pick that
Buyer's
decision?
remorse.
Yeah, I mean, why did I do? I mean, when does it end? That's why now I don't think there is a bad idea. Slick actually came to me with a project he's working on, and I disagreed. And he knows it. I said, okay, I need you to do this because I already know I'm not seeing what you're seeing, but I'm not going to go down this road as to why. It doesn't make any sense to me. I think too much time is spent on the why. And the other thing is, the most important aspect of all this is to trust your instincts that you are not trusting and asking somebody to help you. You know how hard it is to muster up and say, Doc, can we sit down? I need some help. You know how hard that is?
Conversation, what I'm doing is assessing the 8 dimensions of wellness. Where does this person need help without them telling me? And until you know what you're asking for, sometimes you don't even know that you need help. But that's why I'm not a psychologist anymore, and I don't practice as a psychologist because a psychologist you reach out to when you need help. I would prefer somebody reaching out to me when they just need to have a conversation with somebody and they don't know who that somebody is, or they don't have that somebody in their lives. They just need to talk out a situation that's they're retelling over and over and obsessing about. And they just need a little bit of help, maybe pushing themselves through that area where they're stuck. But I don't have a lot of couch time. I don't spend a lot of time on the why, because there are other people that do that. If you want to talk about why you are the way you are and every part of you is amazing and you need to tell those stories, there are plenty of therapists and psychologists that practice that work, and it is important. But I'm past the why. I'm okay, so now what? And the interaction that you had before is in a business situation, the why might not be important. It's the outcome that's important. So why you are, why you make the decisions that you make, that's a little bit more introspective than okay, so I am the way I am. I accept it, regardless of why. Now what? What do I do with that? When I get anxious, my throat trembles. Okay, why? I could sit here and tell you for hours why that happens. Either my mouth is dry or something is questioned in my body, I just get nervous, versus when I speak in alignment with myself and I know that everything that I'm saying is true to me. So the why, I could bore you with, but okay, so what am I going to do about it? I'm going to engage in stress reduction techniques, so maybe I don't have that. I'm going to have a drink next to me, so hopefully I don't have that. And that's more what I do with people, is I help them say, okay, let's deal with it. Let's deal with the problem.
Or you do more of it and you use it because you sound like different. Different is good. Approaches the way you're doing now are good. Sometimes if I can't even do that, I wish I could, because I would use it. I would do it. You know, there's something called the Cafe Press. And Dawn has been obsessed with this digital magazine that we put out. And by obsession, I don't mean that she wakes up night and day thinking about it, but she says, I'm gonna get it done. It used to take us a month to put this bad boy together. Now she's met one of the producers, Frenchie, comes in here, and they knocked it out in 24 hours.
It was amazing.
And I gotta tell you, it is the best work I have ever seen, being 15 years in this business, for a digital magazine.
Because I've learned people's attention span over the last 2 years
has shrunk.
So the amount of information I used to put in it has to shrink. Because people they scan it, and they move on. They're not going to read the Wall Street Journal or the New York Times in a newsletter. Quick and concise, and they move on. And you got people, it's working, right? 3 sentences.
People are actually calling in.
It's because people's attention span, including my own, my attention to detail, is about this much routinely, until I know I have to focus. If I have to focus, it can be weeks that I do a project. It's the same type of thing.
And I think that there's so much going on in this world that we've never had access to before. So we're constantly inundated with information. So our ability to attend to things when there's so many different things going on, it's almost impossible. I mean, right now, I think the news, while I don't really want to talk about the news, but the news is a good example of what's happening to our brains. The news focuses on one thing going on.
Over and over again.
You know, there's other things going on. So what happened to COVID? I mean, nobody's talking about it anymore. Australia's having a major flood, and there's 400,000 people that are displaced that were hanging onto their roofs last night. And it's not on the news. And it's kind of like, okay, well, our brains can only comprehend and take in so much. But what paying attention to what we do take in, I think is really important. People used to read the Wall Street Journal, the New York Times, and have quiet and sit with their newspaper and have their time to read an opinion or news or whatever. Now we're scrolling, we're flipping.
Something quick.
We're swiping, whatever it is. We are an immediate gratification, instant notifications. We have notifications come up constantly on our phones. So when people talk about turn your phone off, get grounded, meditate, that's why all of these things start to become important, because there's so much going on in the world, and it's impossible to have our brain think about everything and still be able to function in what we need to do as our daily tasks.
But let me ask you, if you were to come across someone who you think is not functioning, not to your standards, but just not optimally, is it hurtful to say, have you considered getting help? I may know somebody that can help you overcome some of this, or are you better not to say anything?
I think that's a personal decision, and how comfortable you feel with that person and how open that person may be to hearing you. Also picking your time for them to hear that. I don't think there's anything, and I think maybe because we hesitate, we don't ask enough. Are you okay? Or how are you, and accepting fine as an answer or okay as an answer. They're really nondescript.
Well, let me ask you, how do you define okay?
I define okay as being content.
And are you content?
I am more than content.
Okay, so I just asked the reason, are you okay?
Oh, I thought you were asking a rhetorical, are you okay?
No.
I would never answer, I'm okay.
No, I just asked you, but I did it a different way. Give
Right.
me a definition of okay. You gave it to me. You said content.
Content.
So I said to you, are you content? You says, I'm more than content.
I'm more
so
than
in my
content.
mind, I go, okay, you're okay. Let's move on
Yes.
to the next thing.
Absolutely.
I think delivery is important. I think who you are making that delivery is important. I think that you pick your battles when you want to
Yes.
help somebody.
Yes.
We have stopped listening to ourselves. We have become such an insecure society that we will learn every song that somebody sings to us as opposed to learning stuff in school. And they've proven that. If you were to put the words to, I don't know.
Remember Schoolhouse Rock? How much did we learn from Schoolhouse Rock?
I still remember the words.
Conjunction junction, right?
Because I thought it was hip to be with conjunction junction. We have become a society that wants to be talked at, not listen to ourselves anymore. That's why we don't read the papers anymore. And I love to read. I read.
You do read a lot of reading, a
And
lot of articles.
Linda says, what are you reading now? Because I have to read. Because I got to, I'm forgetting things. I'm telling you, it's happening already. I know it's happening. So I have to memorize things, and I have to play games with myself. This thing about names, that I can't remember names, you know why I remember your name? Because of Hillary Clinton. So you're Dr. Hillary to me. Don't ask me to tell her last name.
What's the name of her company?
TL something. See?
THC.
I just know her as Doc Hillary. That's the only way I remember her.
It's okay
But I
with me.
know that when you walk in a room, the whole room lights up. Everything changes. Perspective changes. The air changes. Just like the artwork in here, everything changes. Everything. That's why you have to pay attention when you walk in a room. I used to tell my ex-wife, you walk in with a hammer. Now, it's either going to be a flower, you're going to use it like a feather, or you're going to use it as a hammer. Because you got to be careful what you say. It's different. You can say the same thing, and that delivery is different.
Sure.
So is yours.
Yeah.
And we've talked about
Like a
this.
hammer.
And I'm done with the hammers. I'm done with the tools, because you know what? I'd rather have you talk to me. Let me listen. That's why I read, because I want to hear it. I want to hear it. I want to hear me, and go from that direction. Simple. Get out of my head is what I tell myself. Something happened to me yesterday. I was very disappointed in myself. I miscalculated something. It only takes an inch in this business to make a mistake. Only an inch. And I tried to get ahead of it, and it wasn't good enough. So I'm back at the drawing board today to try.
Do you forgive yourself?
Yeah, as soon as I get it right.
You're supposed to forgive yourself for making mistakes because you're human.
Human, yes, but this is business. This is business. And in business, I could lose $100,000 with this mistake. And I got to get it right. And people notice. You know how people notice all your mistakes, but they never praise when you do something right? You could do a million things right. They don't say a word. You could do one thing wrong, and they condemn you. But I know that already. I know it. I knew it as a football coach. I knew it as a baseball coach. I knew my kids were watching how I acted on the field, how I stayed composed. You know, I went to a World Series at 12 years of age. And I was reading the paper, having a cup of coffee. And all my coaches were like this. How do you sit there? I said, but look at my players. And they were all sitting there ready to go. But the coaches are like this. You're always being watched. Just remember that when you get in your own head. Because somebody else is watching you, you got to pay attention.
But you got clarity of thought. Oftentimes, I don't think your patients have that clarity of thought because that duck can make them not make that decision. Right. They can have a trigger. The nail polish. I've seen people sit in the nail salon for 30 minutes with 4 rolls of nail polish to make a decision. No, I go and I say to my nail tech, what color? She says, that one. I go, okay, fine. And she says, how do you do that? I said, because I'm going to change it in 2 weeks. Whatever you pick will be fine.
Can I tell you, I grew up with a sister. I am very jealous of the fact that you get to color your nails and you get to color yours. But if I color mine, there's something wrong with me.
You can.
No, I can. But then everybody goes, why is a 59-year-old man coloring his nails? And they're going to judge me.
Do you want to?
Always. But
then
I never
you
did.
should.
Look at this.
Slick, what happened to the tacos? Okay.
So I always wanted to, you know, but I never did.
But you're worried that other people are going to think you're...
Because I got in my head.
So a lot of what I do is getting people out of their head.
So do we have a tool or two that we can give before we wrap up on how to stay out of your head?
Sure. Just acknowledging that some of the decisions are not life-altering. Which ones are, I think, and which ones aren't. And just giving yourself a break and being kind to yourself, knowing that we're all human and we all make mistakes. We're not perfect as humans. We are imperfect. But knowing that if I'm not happy with my nails tomorrow, I can take it off or I can go get it changed. We live in a world where, thankfully for us, we can change our decisions. There's a lot of people that can't. So if you get a car that you don't like, you can sell it, you can buy another car. A lot of people don't have that. So I think that being grateful is a great tool to use when you are indecisive, when you feel overwhelmed, when really you're feeling anything uncomfortable. It's really an easy way to snap you back into reality, and what's important is to say, wow, but you know what? I can choose. Having that choice, it might be overwhelming, but I'm grateful that I have a choice. I'm grateful that I'm a female, and it's not strange for me to put colors on my nails because somebody might want to and feel like they can't. So I think getting out of your own little mind and thinking that there's more to the world than just you is really helpful. You know, what art you put up behind you isn't really gonna matter in the grand scheme of things. Correct. So really assessing what is a problem and what is not. And that's where I say, you know, I'm available from text because I can tell what's a problem and what's not. And for the problems, I make myself available. And for the things that are not problems, we deal with it, we solve it, and we move on. And then a session, it doesn't take up an hour. A session can be scheduled for another time. So I really pride myself on the fact that I answer people immediately and I help them with those problems that are really insignificant, but they're kind of getting caught up in that.
I love what she does. And I'm even more aware of it with our crew because they all have different personalities. Some of them ask exactly for what they need. even if you may not want to hear, like this morning's question, do you have? And you went, oh my God. And then there's others who are very quiet, but if you read the room, you can make the suggestion. Would you be open to this phone call? Which we've had both of those situations today.
You know, the best leaders are the ones that put your players in the best position to succeed. So, you know, that's what I've been taught. I'm not saying let's go do something that I wouldn't do. I don't do any of that. I believe that everybody has a plan, and I want to hear it. And if I can help you get that plan, now it may not make sense to anybody but the person telling you this thing. I'm not here to judge. Let's just go do it and see what happens.
How do people reach you?
You can reach me on my website. It's www.drthc.net. Also, you can reach me on my toll-free phone number, 1-833-552-4442.
Just schedule a conversation, get out of your head, and it's all going to be okay. That's what we say all the time. And then I get, Mom, you don't know that. Yeah, it's all going to be okay.
It's all going to be okay.
It's all going to be okay. Follow your dreams.
Yeah, what is that?
We got all new things on there now. Not every day.
Fish is a great source of high-quality protein and healthy fat.
Not every day is a good day, but there's good in every day.
That is so true.
Right? Find the good in every day. Happy, have a great Fat Tuesday, everyone. Stay safe, be kind to each other. Taco Tuesday, King Cake, Mardi Gras, whatever it is that brings you joy, have a little bit of it today. And we'll see you tomorrow, 11 a.m. brunch time.
And don't be late.
Bye-bye.
Well, that's about it for today. Even though the show's over, the Brooklyn Cafe is always open for business. You're invited to join the fun every day from 12 to 2. If you missed some of the laughs from today, Dawn and Freddie S. will bring you more good cheer next time. You can follow the Brooklyn Cafe on Facebook at the Brooklyn Cafe TV to rewatch every minute of the show. We'll see you next time.
In the cold and sleepless nights, I wait for you to bring me back to life. In my electric eyes, it doesn't mean that time can pick in every single breath. I want to unfreeze my heart and fly away. That's why I wanna save it. Your moons and craters. Open up my eyes, waterfalls of ice, sweeping me away like an avalanche. Helpless as I fall, the words can't say it all, sweeping me away like an avalanche, like an avalanche. I listen for a sound, waiting deep inside my maze of sweeping thrills and colors, just to reapply, bathing me in drops of ink that gleams across my body. Wish you could unfreeze my heart and